Welcome in, everyone. IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship at Long Beach last weekend. Welcome in, everyone. Brian Sill along with Calvin Fish. Long Beach Grand Prix, Calvin. Every year you go there. I mean, you go for the racing for sure, but it's just an event, isn't it? I mean, it's a place that you want to be.
Such a vibe, beautiful weather, big crowd. I'm not sure if it's a record, but it seems to be packed last weekend, and great racing as well. So fun all the way around.
And third race of the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship season, and the third different type of race.
Yes, what's unique about the WeatherTech Championship run, we had the Rolex 24 Sebring 1200-minute sprint on the street races here at Long Beach and at Detroit. And then we go to our traditional 2-hour 40-minute race at WeatherTech Raceway here in just 3 weeks' time. So that's what it's all about. Keeps the drivers and the teams on their toes. But this was one of those wild card races. You have to be on it right from the get-go.
Well, yeah, and third different winner in GTP in 3 different events. And Ganassi so strong all weekend long. Was it strategy that won for them this weekend, or a little lady luck involved as well?
I don't think there was any luck. I think the key was they had a fast race car. So when you have a fast race car, you can play with strategy. If you've got a car that's not performing, tough to make strategy work unless you get lucky. But I think Bourdais could have possibly been on the pole. He had a lap that was only 0.03 of a second off the pole, I think it was. They got out late. We thought it was a bold strategy call, but it wasn't. They just had a hybrid issue. So we qualified third, made the move up early. Then they elected to go with that no tire change. So they basically did that overcut, and there you can see they come out in front of the 31. And that was really the name of the game. Certainly Jack Aitken did a tremendous job behind the wheel of the 31 car, but Renger van der Zandt had the track position. And the real key was when he left the pit lane, he had tire temperature immediately. He didn't have to warm up those left sides that the 31 car did. And I think that was the difference. Gave him the gap, and he did a really brilliant job of just positioning that car. Didn't make any mistakes. Got good rhythm through traffic and brought home a win after a really strong runner-up finish at Sebring. They're now back in the thick of the points chase.
You saw Chip Ganassi standing right there. Ganassi won in the IndyCar race on Sunday as well. Calvin, when you show up at a racetrack and you're running 2 different series, but you're running on the same racetrack, is there any information that flows back and forth?
I think there is. I mean, you can look at a lot of the teams who are there. Ray Hall, for example, obviously has their IndyCar team. Andretti with Wayne Taylor Racing now, the Porsche Penske squad. So there's very few of those teams in GTP, at least, that can't certainly chat with the engineers, cross-reference. What are you seeing on the racetrack this weekend? And I think one big factor this weekend, we talk about double stinting. Porsche Penske did it last year, but this year we're running that soft Michelin tire. Going into this race, everyone thought there's no way with that soft tire that you can double stint. It's going to have too much tire deg. What we found out immediately was it was really well suited to the Long Beach streets. So it took a little bit of a while to get warm up. It wasn't immediately switched on. But the flip side of that is it lasts a little bit longer. So that gave the Ganassi squad the option to double stint tires. Then with a little bit of yellow, it kind of all fell into their box, and they came away with a brilliant win.
So you talk about good strategy, good execution on the part of Ganassi. Did the 31 team make a mistake, or was that just a little bit of bad luck on their part?
I don't think they really made a mistake. I mean, Pippo got the pole. He ended up in the tire wall down in turn 9 after he set the fastest lap of qualifying. Did a great job from the front. Unfortunately for him, as you can see, got a little bit of traffic on his in-lap. That was a factor. Then we talk about the 0-1 when they went back out with that overcut. They weren't immediately vulnerable to getting their tires up to temperature. So I think all in all, the 31 squad did a brilliant job. Jack Aitken was there on debut. So it's tough to really find the rhythm and know how the traffic works when you're running that event for the very first time. So I think the 31 squad, excellent points day. They're back in it. They came off a really strong run at the Rolex. Had that big shunt at Sebring with Pippo Durrani, but they're going to be there all season long. The car looks to be really strong. Cadillac now, I think it's 8 of the last 9 events at Long Beach. We missed a year with COVID, of course, but they are really strong on the streets, which bodes well for the next street race and a couple of events at Detroit.
And of course, anytime you run on the streets, you need to come away with good points because, you know, danger's around every corner. Literally, the 40 team did not do that. They went into the event with the championship lead. Problem there in turn 1, that's going to set them well back in the championship.
Yeah, Acura Grand Prix, a lot of pressure in the, Honda's backyard, really, with their headquarters just down the road. So, but they didn't have great pace. Qualified, I think, 6th with Jordan behind the wheel of this machine, the 40 car in qualifying, 8th for Albuquerque in the 10 car. He was on the pole there last year. And there you see the aftermath of big mistake there by Delatraz. He was like, everyone was talking about this superstar who performed so brilliantly at Sebring, but that's racing. It's a roller coaster ride. He made a pivotal, critical error there down into turn one. Just asked a little bit too much on the brakes, a little bit too late. Tried to catch on the throttle, didn't have enough room in the fence. Bad day points wise. When I think about points, Brian, think about that 10 squad. They've had an awful year. Albuquerque and Ricky Taylor on the back foot in qualifying. Felipe had a decent start but couldn't really progress. That put the pressure on Ricky Taylor. He made an uncharacteristic error, really, in making that move on Westbrook and turned him around, had a drive-through penalty. So they're a team that really has to dig deep. They got a big hole in the points right now.
Well, we always talk about championships are won on consistency and sitting quietly, but now on top of the points, Felipe Nasr, Dane Cameron in their Penske Porsche. I mean, they've just been there week in and week out.
They had big win at the Rolex, of course, and then following that up now with 2 podium finishes. Got a little bit fortunate there. There's that big chaos there down in the turn 11 hairpin where Jaminet got turned. Naz was able to sneak through and grab that podium spot. So they keep doing it. You talk about it, the consistency. And we're 3 races in, Brian. There's only 9 races in this GTP championship. So we're a third of the way through the season, and they're doing everything right now. But they can be a big swing with the amount of cars in this race. They can be 140-point swing every single weekend. So still a lot to play for in this championship.
Let's talk about the production-based cars, GTD Pro, not there this weekend, but you and I were just talking about what a huge event this is. And from a marketing standpoint, the car culture in California, you can kind of understand why Vassar Sullivan Lexus decided to bring in another GTD car. And in order to do that, they had to split their pros, split their AMs, and that has separated the drivers in the championship and the GTD cars. But obviously, it was important for Lexus to go there and try to walk away with the victory, and they did just that.
And they did that because they were able to do it because with Parker Thompson and Frankie Montecalvo, their full season driver lineup in GTD are both silver rated. So that allowed them to split them, bring in Hawkswind, bring in Barnacote to really stack the deck. And having 2 really fast cars. I mean, the 89 car was on the pole, Parker Thompson. Frankie had a brilliant qualifying effort as well, but he had a miscue at the start, got a drive-through penalty on the back foot. Hawksworth tried to charge back through the field, hit the wall, so real mistake from him. But Parker Thompson, Ben Barnacote, he gave him the track position. He just brought it home. Brilliant day for Lexus.
Now, but what do you do for the rest of the season, Calvin? Because your regular season GTD drivers, Parker Thompson, Frankie Montecalvo, are now split in the championship.
Yeah, there's no way of correcting that one. That's just the risk they had going in. They discussed, I spoke to Frankie about that. I said, going forward, someone's going to be supporting the other. He said, yeah, we talked it through. We felt this was the best way to get a result here at a big race, the iconic Long Beach Grand Prix. So Frankie's going to be supporting Parker now. I don't think even with the best case scenario, you can suddenly turn things around, get an equal result going the other way to get those 2 drivers back on equal points. But Parker Thompson, he's the real deal. I mean, he is sensational. Looking at the data after the race, he had the fastest average for the whole field. So not only did he put the car on pole, he did a great job in that opening stint as well.
Yeah, he's been super quick in every series that we've seen him run in under the IMSA umbrella and even some other series as well. But talk about championships, being consistent, not a great day for the 57 Windward squad, but a great points-paying weekend because they walk away and extend their championship lead in GTD.
Well, they swept the Florida Enduros and went in there with a massive lead, but a few of the contenders right behind them are either Michelin Endurance Cup, the Wright Motorsports team, they're having a strong weekend as well, but they got involved in an incident with Brendan Areve, so that took out Adelson very early in the going. So suddenly you look at the points. Yes, Wynn still lead. That was going to happen anyway, even if they finished last in the race. They had such a big lead going into that race, but big day for Turner Motorsports. Robbie Foley and Pat Gallagher finished second on the road. Great strategy call there. They took no tires as well. and leapfrogged up the field. Robbie Foley did a great job hanging on there with tires that had a little bit less life in them than all of the chasers. So they're suddenly second in points. So we now go to WeatherTech Raceway. That's a bit of a curveball, Brian. Brand new racing surface. A lot of teams are testing there this week to get a feel for that. So be curious to see who has the upper hand when we get to the next race on our calendar.
Fourth race on the calendar, fourth different type of race, right? I mean, now we're to our regular 2-hour, 40-minute sprint race on a natural terrain road circuit. So it's one of the great things about the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. And as you said, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca coming up next, May 10th through the 12th. You'll see the race on Sunday on NBC, but everybody's there that weekend. Michelin Pilot Challenge, Mazda MX-5, Lamborghini Super Trofeo. You can see it on Peacock, and you'll catch the big race on Sunday on NBC. We'll see you there.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.